Good afternoon, Robert Scribbler. It is October 3rd, 2018. Thank you for joining me for another climate change and clean energy video blog. Now, for this segment, I am going to talk about the impacts of the remnants of Tropical Storm, or what was once Hurricane Rosa, over Arizona and parts of the Southwest. First, looking at the National Weather Service radar for the region, we find that much of the heavy precipitation we saw over the past couple of days has significantly diminished, in which we only see mainly scattered showers, although a line of storms running out into northeast Arizona, with parts of the Southwest experiencing overall increased precipitation or relatively high levels of precipitation for this time of year, even though we typically see monsoonal moisture flows, which add moisture to the region and kick up thunderstorms and increase thunderstorm intensity. Now, it's still relatively early in the afternoon, so some of these storms could fire off to more severe potential as you get more heat rising up off the land, and the region has a larger atmospheric moisture loading because of the influx of Rosa's moisture, as well as a degree of influx of Pacific Ocean moisture coming off a much warmer than normal Pacific Ocean as well. So something to watch. Now, it's worth noting that Rosa itself, the remnants of Rosa, set off a number of flash flood warnings and flash floods throughout parts of Arizona yesterday and early today, with officials now warning that a dam could fail near the Alichuk community, which is a Native American community of 162 people on the Tohono O'odham Reservation, which was evacuated last night for public safety. So this is a developing situation. Let's hope this dam does not fail, but water levels at the dam are within 1 foot of topping over Menager's Dam, and officials are very concerned with regards to this situation. Overall, just like to point out that we've had some rather significant precipitation totals over the past week, primarily over the past couple days in the region of Arizona, with rainfall totals in the range of 2 to as high as 6 inches or more of precipitation in some locations. So very intense precipitation for this region for this time of year, and record totals for a number of locations. Phoenix itself fell within the swath of heavy rainfall, although much heavier rainfall fell to the north and south of Phoenix. According to the National Weather Service at Phoenix experienced its 8th rainiest day on record for all days recorded, and its wettest day ever recorded for October as of yesterday. So record rainfall amounts at 2.36 inches for the day yesterday, according to the National Weather Service at Phoenix. And as we can see from the National Weather Service, continuous flood warnings are being issued, and we have flash flood watches through the area because of river flooding through 5 p.m. today. This would be Mountain Standard Time, and more flash flood warnings just continuing to be issued over recent hours. Overall, the present situation, I'm just going to go ahead and look at a couple of indicators, but the present situation right now is that the Southwest is getting quite a bit of moisture coming in, not just from a tropical cyclone, which moved a bit further to the north than tropical cyclones would typically move, but also due to warmer waters, much warmer than normal waters off the US West Coast, and quite a lot of moisture cycling in over these much warmer than normal waters. And before I zoom in on this, I'd just like to pull out and give you guys an idea. I've talked about this before, but the Pacific Ocean in general is extraordinarily warm. And waters surrounding the United States are extraordinarily warm as well, with East Coast waters off the East Coast and off the Gulf of Mexico also much warmer than normal, likely feeding into a much warmer than normal pattern across the U.S. East for the month of September. I'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's zoom back in on the Southwest so we can see the moisture flow coming off the Pacific Ocean. This is Sergio out here to the south, which is now expected to track off to the west. There were some forecasts that it could recurve, but at present that is not expected. So looking at the Southwest, we see much higher than typical moisture levels for this region. This region tends to be rather dry, with some tropical moisture and subtropical moisture cycling in from an offshore low pressure system, which is pulling moisture into California and Nevada, as well as the remnant moisture from Rosa. So overall, higher than normal moisture levels still continuing to feed into a pattern of heavy rainfall for the Southwest, with record rains as a result of the remnants of Rosa moving through the area, with numerous flash flood warnings in effect. And it's worth noting that we do have a few climate change related issues involved in this overall pattern, one being the northward extent of Rosa, what appears to be a further than typical northward extent for a tropical cyclone, and the overall trend for tropical cyclones is to tend to move further to the north with human-caused climate change. And in addition to that, very high atmospheric moisture levels moving in over a much warmer than normal Pacific Ocean, which has fed into this overall pattern of extreme rainfall and flooding. It's worth noting that globally we've seen an increase in extreme rainfall events, and this is running along the projected path, the path projected by climate scientists due to human-caused climate change, which did note that the intensity of rainfall events of the most extreme variety would tend to increase as the Earth temperature warmed and as atmospheric water vapor loading increased. And ironically, this would be juxtaposed to increasingly severe drought situations as the rate of evaporation increased. So both ends of the precipitation spectrum tend to move more and more toward the extreme as the Earth tends to warm, as rates of evaporation increase, and as more moisture is forced into the atmosphere, which provides fuel for heavy rainstorms and record rain events like we just saw for the US Southwest. So just an overall picture of what's going on with the remnants of Rosa. Thank you for joining me, and I'll be chatting with you soon.